Hey, it's Debbie Potts, and I am wondering if you are confused on what you are supposed to eat and not eat. When are you supposed to eat? When are you supposed to fast? And how to match your fueling with your training. So if you want to learn more, follow along on my journey as I share my research, thoughts, experiences, and conversations with experts in this field on this podcast and the YouTube channel, Debbie Potts Coaching. Check out debbiepotts.net for more information on my blog and my coaching services. Talk soon.
Welcome to the Low Carb Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you burn fat, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey guys, it's Debbie, and have you used a CGM before? CGM is continuous glucose monitor, and there's different options out there. Ideally, you can get it from your doctor, but they seem to just want to wait until you're type 2 diabetic and not be preventative. I would like us to take ownership of our health and make choices now to prevent having high, low glucose readings and optimize your health from the inside out by testing and not guessing. And that includes a CGM that goes on for 14 days, and you can order one via NutriSense. And a CGM is giving you glucose updates with a small device in the back of your arm 24/7. Totally easy. I actually did a video on my YouTube channel, Low Carb Athlete, how to apply this CGM. First time, kind of scared, but it doesn't hurt. But it gives you real-time glucose readings. Glucose response to meals. You'll learn about what foods are reactive to you, and that could be a healthy food that you think is great, but it could raise your glucose. Simple things as stevia, for me, raise my glucose. Chewing gum, raise my glucose. Stress, when I'm driving a car and there's traffic, raises my glucose. Every stress response is a glucose response. So learn how to manage your stress. Learn how to pick right foods for you, unless you can, do other lab testing and figure out vibrant wellness food zoomers, but it's kind of expensive for people. So if you can wear a CGM, it's a great way to learn about stress, food, exercise, stacking movement with your nutrition. Figure out how to balance your blood sugar. So we want to learn more about how to exercise and eat or not eat. And morning cortisol, does it raise your glucose? If there's hidden stressors at nighttime, does your glucose go up higher while you're sleeping? So it gives us lots of clues that we can put in our investigation when we are working on your personalized fueling training and performance program to improve fat loss, performance, and longevity. So head to NutriSense website, nutrisense.io, how it works. You can learn more about your habits, your routines, your relationship to food, a little bit more. Great app to use, and it can sync on to different programs, so you can put it all together. So if you want to get started with your journey in NutriSense, I suggest this to all my clients. Use at least 30 days. So you can do a 30-day, 90-day, different programs, but you can pick which one you want. You get the sensor in the mail, put it on, lasts for 14 days, sync it to the app, and get your readings on there. And then if you're doing my VIP coaching program, I'm working with you to correlate this data together. So begin your health optimization journey with NutriSense, and you can save on your order with our code, as usual, Low Carb Athlete. So no carbs is not our goal, it's carb timing, and using NutriSense, you can help figure out your nutrient-dense whole food plan and when to adjust your macros based on your exercise intensity, duration, based on your life stressors, and learn more. So it's nice to have this data. So test and not guess with NutriSense. Let me know how you like it. All right, guys, I am doing a series of how to fuel and train as an endurance athlete aging athlete, and specifically because I'm a female, the female aging athlete. So I just finished Dr. Stacy Sims' Menopause 2.0 course, and I've been diving into all this information and trying to share it with you. And also, I always wonder what the why is. So I've been diving deep into rabbit holes looking at why is this? Why is that? Why do we need to do that? So I will be sharing this in a series of podcasts and on my YouTube channel. So stay connected, subscribe on the YouTube channel, because that's where I'll be posting videos with guests on the show immediately after I record them, and other resources, as well as some exercise demos as with my Be Strong blood flow restrictor bands. Stay connected. All right, here we go. Are you matching your fueling and training to improve your performance and recovery? Because we want to train hard, recover even more so. So train hard, recover harder. Because recovery is when we respond to those stressors we gave our body during a workout session. So if we want to be able to hit it hard again on the next workout and hit those key markers, if you're working on speed, power, well, I'm trying to get to zone 5. There's only certain times of the week and the month that I can actually go as hard as zone 5 for 10 to 30 second intervals. So how I fuel post workout, even during some longer workouts, is really essential to my performance. So I am sharing my research, training, education, and rabbit holes on my Chat GPT friend, and also with Dr. Stacy Sims' course and Peter Defty and other people in this endurance field. And you can also listen to my recent interview, more so conversation, with my friend Zach Bitter. Obviously, he's an ultra endurance athlete doing the 100 milers, where I am the retired Ironman athlete, retired marathoner, and retired 50K trail runner, that I tend to do 10 miles as my longest run, and really striving to follow my mantra, less is more. And I am doing more brick workouts right now, doing hour to hour and a half bike workouts with some key intervals towards the end, 2 days a week. And then I get home and I put on my running shoes, take off my bike stuff first, put on my running shoes, and I go for a 10-minute to 30-minute run. Some days, some intervals. As I live on a hill, we have a street that's steep, and I did that street 3 times today for a 12-minute run. So I am trying to practice what I preach and experiment with less is more. Focus on doing less endurance volume training, because I've done volume since I started doing Ironmans when I was in my late 20s. I started doing marathons in my late 20s and started doing sprint triathlons, dancing when I was 25. And suddenly I'm 51, almost 52 in November. So here's some thoughts today. So what is right for you, the aging endurance athlete who's doing key performance training sessions? High intensity interval training is suggested for us to do less volume, and then 2-3 days a week. I think 4 is too many because I don't recover that fast. So I say 2 days a week doing some key workouts. So you're hitting that zone 4 for high intensity interval training, which is 1 to 5 minutes max of zone 4, and then you recover into zone 1 before you go back to zone 4. Short, high intensity interval training sessions are all out 10 to 30 seconds, balls to the wall, zone 5. So that's getting to 165, 170. I don't see very often. All the way back down to zone 1. Stay there before you go back to zone 5. So most people I know, and at these fitness studios as F45 and Orange Theory, all these kind of circuit training studios, they're doing more zone 3. They're not doing high to low. So they're really not doing interval training. They're doing more of that black hole training. So we want to do zone 2 training, or we're doing interval training. And then we have a recovery day. So if you are, like me, an aging endurance athlete who's maybe more retired from racing, but just likes to continue training, swim, bike, run, if you're a triathlete, you want to probably look at what are you losing as you get older. So don't blame the aging process. We want to embrace the aging process, right? my saying all the time, is also insanity doing the same program over and over again, expecting different results. So as I'm 50 something, when I was 40 versus 30 versus 20s, the training program should be different. So you don't expect the same results. Don't blame that, oh, I'm getting older. I hate that excuse. It's a pet peeve. We just need to change how we are training. So that would be what I just talked about, that short intensity interval training, HIIT training, but not overtraining. That's 2-3 days of workout, or those intervals towards the end of your workout, and then recovery zone 2, and then less volume. Because if you're like me, I've been doing high volume training for 25 years. So, and as Stacy Sims talks about, I'm a female, so I was born to be better at endurance than a male. So I'm built for endurance training. And I have developed that long, slow distance energy system. So I am great at being able to ask my body to go for a 4 or 5 hour bike ride. But can I go fast? Can I be powerful? Can I do all out zone 5 workout intervals? No, I don't have that power. So I need to train that instead of, oh, I can't do that. Well, I need to adjust how I'm training. So if I am working on training harder, how does my nutrition impact that performance in those key sessions? Why is my phone still on? I keep turning this off. I hate that sound of phones being on. Beeping is so annoying. Okay, focus. Rob Wolf talked a couple years ago. I had him on the show. And I really always think of this, not all carbs are evil, right? So we in the keto world and the carnivore world are talking about people that are not fit and active, endurance athletes, and doing a lot of high intensity interval training. I feel like more people that are doing strict 0 carbs to really low carbs are working on healing their body from some gut issues or metabolic diseases. When we are talking about nutrient dense natural carbohydrates as berries or a potato, sweet potato, those are not evil. What's evil are the carbs that are the processed, refined flours, additive vitamins, minerals, the junk stuff in a package, stuff that's pre-made, sitting on the shelf for years. Bagels, muffins, chips, crackers. You know, there's some good crackers that I can find nowadays, but you're not having all the empty calorie stuff. We want nutrient dense whole foods, and the carbs sometimes can help you, and use them as backup fuel when you want to go faster and hit those sprints. Timing when those carbohydrates are in around your workouts are what we call strategic carb timing. Now, Dr. Stacy Sims is talking about research for the females, as most research in all studies, even the fasting studies, are done on men. And if they are done on women, they're not done on fit and athletic females. And are they done on females going through this menopausal transition time, which I said in previous podcast, menopause is actually just one day. So we have perimenopause, premenopause, and postmenopause. One day is menopause when you're officially have not had your cycle for 12 months. So I don't know who corrected that. It's like 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. So if you have that negative result, you're going to lose 1 pound of fat if you don't eat 3,500 calories negative deficit. So menopause is similar. It's one day when you're officially no cycle. So a lot of the research isn't done on fit and active females. So Stacy Sims talks in her research on the female athlete that's doing high intensity workout, and her background is more racing and more CrossFit-ish, not doing just the gentle, easy yoga and Pilates. So when she's talking about fueling in and around your workout and improve performance, change your body composition, and to improve recovery and repair, you want to look at that intensity of the workout. So she's talking about when you're doing a HIIT, a sit workout, a heavy resistance training workout, not just a gentle recovery yoga or Pilates or walk, right? So it's when your heart rate is high or when you're breaking down muscle. Okay, just to clarify that. So Stacy Sims talks about consuming a combination of a nutrient-dense whole foods diet, focus on protein and carbohydrate, in and around exercise. She doesn't talk a lot about healthy fats, and that's where I listen to what Dr. Elizabeth Bright talks about, because our steroid hormones are made from cholesterol. So steroid hormones are your sex hormones, are made from cholesterol, which is made from fat, basically, right? So we want to make sure we get healthy fats in. But for workout performance, she's talking about the carbohydrates for that backup fuel tank and to replace the muscle glycogen that you just depleted in a high intensity workout. So the purpose is to match your fueling with your training pre-workout for females. Men perform fine, but research has shown that women do better by having a little bit of calories, just like 100, 150 calories, not a big meal. And then you can do that in a coffee. And then post-workout fueling within a 30-minute window for men. Women, men can wait a little longer, but we have a smaller window to get that protein to help the muscle protein synthesis. So we want to have that post-workout fueling to enhance our body's recovery and repair. So our goal to maximize the body's ability to respond to the stress. Exercise is a stress. So remember what hormetic stresses are. Exercise is a stress. When you hit weight training, where you're doing the interval training, when you are going hard, going easy, those are hormetic acute stressors. And remember what chronic stress is. I always think of acute stress as the faucet. You're turning it on, turning it off, that leaky faucet when it's dripping, dripping, dripping. I think of it as chronic stress. So anything chronic that we don't recover, repair from that stress and build and get stronger from that stress and adapt to that stressor, that if it's not turned off, becomes a chronic stress and has that downhill spiral domino effect into metabolic chaos. So our goal is to maximize the body's ability, how we respond to that stress of the exercise session. We get stronger by adapting to that stress. We want to maximize the muscular adaptations from the exercise session, and we want to facilitate repair of the muscle damage that we created from the exercise stress. So to help that, we need to fuel our workouts and recovery to send the signal. This is how I think of it. Send the signal to the body after the workout that, okay, the stress is over. We turn that faucet off. Remember, on, off, acute stress, chronic drip is chronic stress. So we want to, show that we have the resources coming to help recover from this exercise stress, that stressor, to adapt from the exercise stress so we can start that recovery. So remember, hormesis. What is hormesis? Just a side note. Hormesis is a biological phenomenon which is an exposure to a low or moderate level of stress or harmful agent that can actually result in a positive response, leading to improved health, resiliency, or performance. So in other words, a small dose of stress or toxin that might be detrimental in higher amounts as a plant toxin, as a workout that you don't go take a break from, can trigger adaptive responses in the body that enhance its ability to cope with and resist more severe stressors. This concept applies to various aspects of biology, including cellular processes, aging, and even human behavior. So exercise is a classic example of a hormetic stressor, as is intermittent fasting. When you engage in a physical exercise, you're subjecting your body to form a stress that challenges its normal homeostasis. This stress leads to a variety of physiological and molecular responses that over time result in improved fitness and overall health. Same with a cold plunge, same with a sauna. So I always say less is more, more is not better. Anything too much can leave you in that breakdown state and cause a stress. So if I did sauna every day, 7 days a week nonstop, maybe that's stressful. And I'm always curious, if your cortisol is already super high or you're super low cortisol, below level, is that stressor good for you? So we have to listen to what's going on with that body, if they're hyperadrenals or hypoadrenic. So how does exercise fit into the concept of hormesis? So diving into this a little bit more as I went through many rabbit holes. Stress and adaptation. So when you exercise, you're putting stress on your muscles, cardiovascular system, and other bodily systems. This stress leads to a small scale damage and disruption at a cellular level. And then we have response and adaptation. In response to the stress, your body activates various pathways and processes that help repair the damage, enhance its ability to handle similar stressors in the future. This includes processes like inflammation, increased oxygen utilization, and the release of growth factors. And then we have enhanced resiliency and health benefits. So over time, the cumulative effects of these adaptive responses translate into improved overall health, reduced risk of chronic diseases as diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and mental well-being. So you can go into that more, but it's really interesting that the type of exercise we're doing, and we'll talk a little bit how exercise is a stress, right? We just said that. So should we do fasted exercise? Is what I'm getting into as well here, is what to eat, when to eat, and why. And should you do fasted exercise versus fed workout? Because fasting is a stressor and exercise is a stressor. So are we doing too much stress to our body? We're already getting the same benefits of exercise. If we are fasting, it's not necessary to put us in that stress. So it's an interesting concept to dive into. All right, so recommendations on when to eat. Stacy Sims, Dr. Sims, talks in her course that we get stronger from an exercise session in the recovery period. As I said already, train hard and recover harder. What you eat, when you eat, and I always like to add in how you eat, because if you eat super fast, you turn off your parasympathetic rest and digest system, and you're in that sympathetic breakdown mode. You're not going to digest your food properly if you're in sympathetic when you're eating. If you're rushing and throwing down your food and not chewing it, that's another problem. But it's essential to get the nutrients you need to achieve these performance gains as we're looking for, especially as we're aging athletes. So if we don't eat post-exercise, because I have this problem myself, I tend to get home from a workout in the morning and I get showered and get ready and start my work day and then realize, I haven't had anything to eat, but maybe I made coffee. So today I made an effort. Side note here. I just put in the magic bullet, some water, a couple ice cubes, and some whey protein powder and bone broth protein powder from Paleo Valley, and Kion, their whey protein, and Cynthia Thurlow makes a great creatine. And I threw that all in the blender. Oh, and some Laird's mushrooms. And I drank that and waited till I was hungry to have a meal. And I had leftover chicken sausage and chicken. And I had my protein, because we want in that post-workout to get around 30 grams of protein. And that protein we'll talk about, as this blog is super long, you can go find it on my blog page, but which foods have the most protein, and 30 grams of protein with 3 grams of leucine. So post-workout, well, let me back up. I missed a part here. So if we don't eat post-workout, we're staying in a depleted catabolic breakdown state, resulting in poor lack of adaptation to that training and exercise stress that we just did. So if we want to get the benefits from that workout, we want to tell the body it's okay and refuel, instead of telling our body, the hypothalamus says, I'm in a stress state. I'm in a low energy state, especially if you do this 4 days in a row or more. We end up being in a catabolic breakdown state versus anabolic building state. So we have another source of chronic stress, and then more adrenal function dysfunction leads and correlates with low thyroid function, hypothyroid, and low energy availability that we talked about too in previous episodes. So really important part here, that it doesn't have to be a big meal, because I'm never hungry afterwards. But as I said today, just throw in that stuff in a magic bullet and just drinking my protein, and to have some carbs in there. If it's some vanilla, coconut sugar in a Laird's cream or something like that, might be good, and have a little splash of heavy creams and some butter for fat. Dr. Stacy Sims suggests eating, for female athletes, 150 calories pre-workout, just a little bit in a coffee. I don't like eating before a workout, and she doesn't suggest that. She just finds that women need to raise a little blood glucose to help them access that fat lipid removal with having a little bit of protein if you're doing weightlifting or muscle, breaking down that muscle. So she says 15 grams of protein and 30 grams of carbohydrate pre-workout. And then post-workout, she suggests 30 to 40 grams of protein with a little bit of carbs to decrease your body signals that you are in a catabolic breakdown state. And this gives the body the ingredients it needs to rebuild, recover, repair from that post-workout damage. So that, remember, is a high-intensity workout session or heavy lifting session or an hour and a half or longer endurance session. That's when you need to refuel, not necessarily right after easy workout you need to fuel. You can wait until you're hungry at your next meal and make sure that meal is nutrient dense. Post-workout nutrition improves that glucose control post-training, so we're able to pull the glucose into the muscle cell during and post-exercise window without having the need for insulin. So as we are getting more insulin insensitive as females happen when we're aging, there's a hawk going by me here. That GLUT4 transporter is what will be activated during a workout session. So we are able to draw in the nutrients we need to replace the empty glycogen stores post-workout. So by prioritizing protein post-training sessions gives our body the essential amino acid it needs to promote muscle protein synthesis post-resistance training, heavy weights, high intensity interval, or as I said, the long endurance training. So by fueling up, we're also, as I said, avoiding us, especially females, we tend not to eat very much. Especially I find more higher fat protein. I am not hungry, so I don't think I'm eating enough, and I did too much fasting. So you have to look at, for me, am I getting faster? Am I getting stronger? Is my performance improving? Am I losing fat weight? And if those answers are all no, stop doing what you're doing and maybe try eating more protein, fat, and not being afraid of strategic carbohydrates in and around the workout when you are depleting the muscle glycogen storage. If that is a sweet potato, cut up roasted potatoes with butter, or if it's having some berries in that shake, eating real food versus powders, obviously is better, but quick energy if you're on the go, I find a shake is something I could throw together. So protein timing and distribution is really important. If you listen to Gabrielle Lyon, for muscle protein synthesis. So focusing on the larger leucine intake, not by itself, it has to be with all the essential amino acids, 2.7 to 3.5 grams of leucine post-exercise within the protein. So say it's 30 grams of protein to 40 grams spread out throughout the day. You want to make sure it has that about 3 grams of leucine to post-exercise session to signal the muscle to induce that muscle protein synthesis. So if you're not getting the response and adaptation, the benefits from your workout, you're not feeling your body composition changing. Remember, don't blame, I'm getting older, this is what happens, it's BS. You need to do something about it and prioritize your nutrition. And I have to plan ahead. So if you're not at home, it's a little harder. I like Brad's his new whey protein with vanilla, because it's from vanilla seeds, real vanilla with creatine in it, and it mixes really well. So I would do that in a shaker bottle and then just add water when I'm post-workout if I'm not at home. So it's really important to plan ahead because I want to get stronger, leaner, and get faster and more powerful. So I need to adjust not eating so much and eating more. But what if you're a plant-based athlete? Because Stacy Sims is a vegetarian, so she offers more plant-based solutions than I know about. And because I find it really impossible, or not impossible, it's challenging to get 30, 40 grams from vegetarian type of meal from plants because you can't eat all that. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how much you have to get in to get 30, 40 grams of protein from plant-based. So if you are plant-based, I used to be pretty plant-based and only eat chicken, even though that's gross, but I started eating more meat a few years ago, 5 years ago now, and now I just want to eat steak, butter, and eggs all the time, and salt. So you might want to wonder why you're plant-based and try eating meat. I used to just eat salads. So you got to try it out. Because if you are plant-based, you need a higher amount of protein. So I think I read that you need 50 grams of protein from a plant-based source as a blend of rice and pea to get that leucine 3-gram threshold. So you have to do a lot more, and we don't obviously want powders as a supplement. You want real food, but post-workout window, I find a shake is easier. And then when I can get around to having a meal, and maybe an hour or 2 hours after that, I can have eggs and sausage or something. So you want to hit that protein blend of 50 grams is kind of tough, but you can do it. So you want to avoid the processed foods, of course, and the fortified foods. So ideally, nutrient-dense whole foods, shaken bars are a backup plan. They're just a supplement. They're not what you want to depend on. So if you're just eating bars and processed packaged foods and shakes all day, try to see what you can do differently to plan ahead and have real food meals. And focus on eating diverse diet because you want to make sure we're looking at the microbiome. I test functional lab testing with my clients. So doing a GI map is a 1-day stool test, and we can really look at what's going on with your microbiome. Or I like to have the Genova Diagnostics 3-day stool test to get a little more bigger picture of what's going on in the gut. But we want to have a good diversity in our microbiome, good bacteria. So we want to make sure we're eating the right foods to grow the bacteria, the good stuff. So we want to plan ahead to get that nutrient-dense diet. Maybe you need some carbs post-meal, especially when you're doing the harder, intenser, longer workouts. So don't think about the calories in, calories out to lose weight. We cannot get stuck in that way. As I said, 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. It's not exact science. So you want to, if you're struggling to lose fat weight, you want to improve your body composition. We want to burn fat, lose fat, and increase your lean tissue. It's not doing extra cardio and eating less. That doesn't work. Maybe it did in the past, but it doesn't work anymore. So we need to change your training program. All right, so last little bit, and then I'll give you a break and record the rest. You can read it on my website, debbiepotts.net. When should you fuel for performance gains? So I ask, we want to eat before the workouts because why? Why do we want to intake protein and carbs post-workout? Why? We want to prioritize protein intake throughout the day because why? So we want to look at that. So last little bit here, if you do heavy resistance training and a high heart workout, are you in a catabolic or anabolic post-workouts? It's anabolic state post-workout. So I was looking into this. Are we catabolic? Are we anabolic? How do we get in an anabolic state? So the immediately post-workout can involve being catabolic, which is breaking down, or anabolic state. So the balance between these two states can vary based on several factors, including type of workout, nutrition, and your individual physiology. So a catabolic state during heavy resistance training or high-intensity cardiovascular workout, your body undergoes stress and energy expenditure. Muscle tissue can experience microscopic damage and breakdown due to intense physical stress, leading to transient catabolic state. Cortisol, our stress hormone friend, remember, not any cortisol we want is bad. We want the good balance. Not too high, not too low, that right amount, the Goldilocks effect for everything. So cortisol, a stress hormone, might be elevated after intense exercise because it was a stressor. And that elevation will promote muscle protein breakdown. So when we are talking about being in a catabolic breakdown state, that is mostly, I think, because we are raising cortisol. And that's why I'm doing shorter workouts because my body, I'm really low cortisol from my adrenal exhaustion stuff 10 years ago, which could have been perimenopause stuff too, and doing too much fasting and too much exercise and too much stress running my own fitness studio for 10 years with $1,000,000 a month rent, that cortisol is elevated after exercise. And especially going back to I never would eat afterwards and just go fasting all day, I was putting myself in a catabolic state. So again, look at your body composition. If you're doing the workout and you still look fit, flabby, soft, mushy, and you're not getting leaner and stronger, well, you need to change what you're doing. So the immediate aftermath of your workout, your body may continue to experience some catabolic effects. We don't want that after the workout. To be in an anabolic state, what is anabolic? So in the response to resistance training, the body initiates the repair and recovery processes in response of that resistance training session. In the hours following the exercise, especially if you provide the body with the proper nutrition, so again, nutrient timing, it shifts towards an anabolic building state. So this is why nutrient timing is really important to get in that anabolic state. Consuming protein and carbohydrates after a muscle glycogen depleting workout can support muscle repair and replenishes glycogen stores respectively. Now, carnivore world would say, well, I don't eat carbs. But if you are trying to replace that muscle glycogen storage, you can do that from fat and protein if you don't need it immediately. Gluconeogenesis, making glucose, gluconeogenesis. So if you are working out, I remember from Ben Greenfield said this, if you're doing a 2-a-day workout, so say I'm doing my bike run brick workout, doing sprints on the hills, anaerobic to aerobic intervals, recovery in the morning, and then I'm doing master swarm workout at lunch, I can tolerate after my morning workout some nature's carbohydrates if I want in that workout window, post-workout session. If I don't need them, I just have to time that I have enough time to digest my food so I can go swimming and have enough fuel in there, because master swimming sometimes can be anaerobic intervals if I'm feeling the need to sprint. So it depends on your workout and your goal and what you're trying to do. So no, you don't need carbohydrates, but you might want to look at what your workout schedule is and what you want to demand your body to do. How long you have time to replenish that glycogen store if you're doing a 2-a-day. So we want to support the muscle repair and replenish the glycogen stores. But looking at your next workout, you might not need any carbohydrates if you have enough time, say the next day. So hormones as insulin and growth factors play a role in promoting anabolism and tissue repair. So that's why I'll do a podcast on Be Strong, the blood flow restrictive bands, and how they can improve our growth hormone, but also doing the type of workouts to improve growth hormone. And we want to get more in an anabolic state and repair that tissue. So what this article is saying is that the transition from catabolic to anabolic state is not always immediate, and that can vary based on the intensity and the duration of the workout, and of course, individual factors and strategies that you implement post-workout session. So plan ahead. The post-exercise window is often referred to the anabolic window, and this is that critical time for nutrient intake to support recovery and muscle protein synthesis. I never can say that word. I don't know why it comes out weird. Okay, and then finishing up, strategies support anabolic post-workout. So we talked this through already a little bit, but protein intake, consuming adequate amount of protein post-workout, provides essential amino acids for repair and growth of your muscles. Carbohydrate intake to replenish muscle glycogen stores, support insulin release, which is an anabolic building hormone. Hydration, staying hydrated is crucial for optimal recovery and metabolic processes. Resting, active recovery, and sleep hygiene routine is essential to further support recovery and anabolic processes that happen while we are asleep. So I really prioritize my sleep. Moderate cardio, so engaging in moderate intensity zone 2 maffetone type of training after resistance training might help support recovery anabolism without inducing excessive catabolic effects. So maybe that means you're going just walking after you did a hard workout, or you do an easy spin after you do intense, or maybe after heavy lifting, you do just a warm down, so slowing down. So in summary, immediately after heavy resistance training or high intensity workout, you might experience elements of catabolic and anabolic benefits or systems building or breaking down. The key is, it's kind of like mTOR and AMPK. We need both, building, breakdown, cell autophagy, building cells. The key is to provide the body with the right nutrients and quality rest to facilitate recovery and transition into more pronounced anabolic state, which promotes muscle repair, growth, and overall adaptation. So if you want to improve your body composition and not just lose weight, but fat weight, you want to look at what happens as we get older as athletes and the hormone changes for the female athlete, lower estrogen, progesterone, testosterone for men as well. You can look at your DHA levels and testing your serum hormone markers and doing a Dutch test to look at your hormones over a 24-hour period for your cortisol and other sex hormones. I would measure and see if you need some DHA. Look at some different supplements if you need it, but how you train and eat is really going to make an impact. So eating for women, post 30 minutes, men, up to 3 hours, I've read. Goal to reduce that cortisol, the exercise stress, because we don't want to be in a catabolic state. We want to get that anabolic response. Muscle protein synthesis, we want to activate, and we want to get that enough amino acids with a profile with 3 grams of leucine, islet Keon. You can use our code low carb athlete to save on Keon, but the essential amino acids that they have developed, they formulated to have that higher mark of leucine. So you can get 7 capsules, I think it's 5 grams of protein or essential amino acids. And then the protein powder or amino acid powder is an option. My body doesn't do stevia, so I can't do their flavored Keon amino acid powder. That's easy to drink. I'd like that if it didn't give me a headache. You also want to test and not guess what's going on in your gut. So, checking out your microbiome diversity. I have a lot of people that really have elevated H. pylori. So even if you're doing a high protein diet, they're not able to break down the protein into amino acid because the H. pylori is going to alter their levels of HCl, their stomach acidity. So when we have H. pylori, we want to do a eradication 36-day protocol, get that down. So you don't want to take HCl supplements. You want to make sure you get rid of the H. pylori being so elevated, because that's going to impact our amino acid profile, our zinc, our iron, and B12. So it's really important, as well as if we don't have that acidic stomach, it's not going to protect us from getting bad guys coming through and getting into the small intestine, large intestine. So we want to make sure we test and not guess what's going on with the microbiome and our digestive system. So gut health is really important for gut health. It's leaky gut leads to leaky brain. Your immune health, remember 70% or more is in your gut. So we look at the immune health. You want to work on gut health, brain health, and just overall autoimmune issues and everything. So we want also avoid low energy availability by getting stuck in that need to lose weight by exercising more and eating less. That might backfire for you as we get older. It doesn't work so much. So really looking at how you can adapt to your changes get the changes from the workout by how you refuel and time your nutrition. So eating in and around your workouts to reduce that stress and being in that catabolic state. So I'll stop there, but we'll talk more. Again, I've talked to 10 last year about fasting. Do you do FedEx, eat before you work out? When should you eat? If you're planning ahead, remember to be looking at that. I also was looking into nutrient timing to improve body composition, repair, and recovery, and talking about gut motility, leaky gut, immune system dysbiosis, hot weather, and the gut health, what to do to mitigate the effects. That's why I like S-Fuels. I also looked into nutrient timing post-workout for the female athlete, leucine content and hydration, how much leucine is in a steak. So ribeye steak versus sirloin versus filet mignon versus a New York strip. What has the most amount of leucine? And let's see, filet mignon is 2.7 to 3 grams, sirloin 2.5 to 2 to 8. Yeah, so a filet mignon has higher leucine content than a ribeye. Everyone's all about ribeye because the fat, we want fatty meat, but we want the leucine. So looking at that, I put in this blog how much leucine is in a plant-based protein to get 30 grams. So you can look at that. And then other things to look at for food sources. If you can't do a whey protein, you can look at, there's beef protein from Equip, low carb athlete discount code for them. Paleo Valley has a bone broth protein. And then ideally real food, you can look at eggs, chicken, salmon. Stacy Sims, a vegan person, would do beans, legumes, brown rice, chia seeds. But, I know a lot of people with gut health can't do any of those foods. So on and on and on. The blog here is called debbiepotts.net website. And then how to match fueling with your training as an aging athlete. And going into what more information on anabolic, catabolic, how can we raise our metabolic state? What can we do to improve our body composition? And so finish up metabolic state, get nutrient timing so you avoid breaking down. We want to work on building and responding from that workout so we can have those changes, adapt from the stress we put on our body, turn off the faucet. Focus on lifting heavy, so resistance training to improve your lean mass, and that will help be higher metabolism, more metabolically active tissue, improve your thyroid hormone by not being in this LEA, low energy availability, so making sure you're eating enough quality food, timing that with your timing it with your exercise. So we want to get out of that low energy availability. I think too much cortisol leads to low cortisol, so you're in that hypoadrenic state, low thyroid. You got to look at not just taking thyroid supplements or supplement for this or that, but look at why are you in that state? Why is that happening? And take off layer by layer and figure out the root cause medicine approach rather than taking a supplement for each marker that is low, because it does not work long term. So we want to look at lifestyle changes, exercise, nutrition, and supplementing where needed based on the functional lab testing, not testing and not guessing, but also not just depending on those supplements to change, because a lot of people are taking thyroid medication and the thyroid's still low. So you're not dealing with why is my thyroid low? Is it liver congestion? Is it poor microbiome? Is it because I have constant stress causing my thyroid to be low? So look at the whole picture. That's what I do as a health investigator and helping those athletes, figuring out how to thrive every day and not struggle to get through the day, and working on training our future self. So that's it for today, folks. Let me know your questions and comments, and I'll respond back to you. And if you like this episode, give us a rating and review, positive remarks, ideally. Got a lot of negative people out there, but positive people. And I'll do some more episodes on how to fuel and train as an endurance athlete who's getting a little older, but we want to stay younger. All right. Thanks. Head to debbiepotts.net to send me a message, or lowcarbathlete@iCloud. Hey, before you leave, my fellow endurance athletes, just a reminder, if you like what you listened to today, please help me out. Share this episode with your community of fellow aging athletes. Also, you can head to debbiepotts.net to set up a free discovery call with me to learn about my personalized coaching programs. If you are struggling to get the desired results, even though you're doing all the so-called right things you hear about out there in our community, you may just need to adjust your workout and test and not guess with functional lab testing, nutritional therapy assessment, and get a personalized program to learn how to best fuel, train, and perform for the unique you to improve the aging process and work on training your future self now. So head to debbiepotts.net and let's talk more.
Thanks for listening to the Low Carb Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook or at debbiepotts.net. You can help us continue and grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and see you next time.